Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight. What do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, to put the right information out there from the people who have done what you're looking to do, or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Solo show today, so we're going to be breaking down some headlines. We're going to be doing talking about the current market as well, and you know, I'm going to touch a little bit on what's going on out there, what I'm experiencing from a sales perspective and everything, and just kind of try and provide some more insight in there as always. But before we go any further, got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, VHubApp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And the best part, you get paid to move these things. So if you're a small fleet and owner-op, you should never have to shut your operation down now because you have a trailer in the shop. And then if you're trying to get in with some of those enterprise level accounts, a lot of the times that they need drop trailer capacity, right? And you can get on there and do that with what they have to offer. So what they're working, you guys, is they got Staunton, Wisconsin going over to Milton, Ontario, and you get $350 US to do this. And then like with these, they don't have to pick up right in Staunton. Like you can bring them down into the Chicagoland area. I know Chicago to Toronto, there's a ton of freight that moves on that lane in particular. They also have Chattanooga, Tennessee going to Clinton, Oklahoma, and you get $600 US to move that. And they got a bunch of trailers out in San Diego. And these range, like legitimately, you guys, anywhere from $1,100 to $2,200 per trailer. They got like 120 trailers out there, you guys, available. And think about that. Like, think about all that additional revenue that should go into your organization by moving these, you guys. And these trailers go out into Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, Minneapolis. You name it, you guys. It goes literally all over. And then they also have finally Paragould, Arkansas going to Mississauga, Ontario, and you get $736 US per move. And they got about 136 trailers left on that, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Stacey Steen and Zach Lonergan, they will be in the audience. And if you go on there, you guys, there's this nice little tab that just says sign up now. Jump on that, click on that, and they can get you access to all this stuff. Let me see here. Tracy St. Clair, what is up? Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. She's watching over on YouTube. Flo, good morning. Drew Driscoll, dude, what is up, dog? It's been a minute since I've seen you jumping on there, man. Axle Logistics, you guys look like you're blowing up every single day, man. I love seeing all the pictures you guys post out there as an organization. Dylan Turner, good morning. He's watching over on YouTube. He says, let's go. He said, it's awesome over there, enjoying the quality side of the stream. And Dylan, amongst others, are the ones who told me that over on YouTube, on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, the stream is a lot better. Like the video quality, the audio quality, everything comes through a lot better on YouTube. So jump over there. You guys go over to YouTube. And then, you know, if you're going to go over there, do your boy a solid. Hit subscribe to the channel if you get value in it. Let's see here. It is Monday, and yeah, we got freight moving this morning. I already got a load picking up, and other freight going out there, bidding freight out. And, you know, there's a lot of, so my guest on last Friday's podcast, and if you haven't jumped on and listened to that, you guys, it's with Dan Hellman. He's with a company called Hub Tech. And, you know, Dan's a good friend of mine. He's been in the industry for a long time. And we were talking about lost opportunities on that one, and how, like, out of the data that they've compiled so far with the people that they're talking to, is like, in most organizations, like 90+% of quotes go unanswered or unworked, or they time out. And it's like, as somebody who's building their business, right? Like, so I have obviously Freight Coach Logistics, we're out there, we're moving freight. We specialize in open deck and heavy haul. When I hear any and because I'm out there building a cold everything, right? Like, yes, I had existing, or like I had people that I worked with in the past, but they haven't set me up, right? So like this is all brand new business. And frankly, even the customers that I used to work with a long time ago, it had been over 3 years since I had worked with them. So again, a lot's changed over that time. So it's like, as somebody who's out there building their book of business, as somebody out there who's sending those cold emails, making those cold calls every single day, and just like hoping for any opportunity to quote with the freight that I have an opportunity to work on, it's so disheartening to hear the amount of freight that comes through. Because like, again, I get it, I get it at times if you've never like really built a book of business and, or you've acquired some accounts because people left your organization and, you look at certain loads as not worth your time. And I want to stress this to everybody out there who's listening right now. Every single load in this market is worth your time, because if you think that it's not, because you don't want to make $50 on a load or $100 on a load or whatever that looks like, rest assured, you guys, there is an individual like me who is in your customer's ear right now in some way, shape, or form, prospecting their business, sending them emails, calling them, offering to show up, hoping for those quote unquote scrap loads that you don't want to work because it's not worth your time. And it's going to get to the point, where it's like all of a sudden, if you don't work those loads, someone's going to, right? And then that someone could be very, very hungry. And then in due time, they will take all of those great loads that you prefer to work, the ones where you're making 15, 20% on or whatever that looks like. It's only a matter of time before those loads go away, because like the problem with getting handed a book of business or handed revenue or anything like that in any capacity is you don't know how hard it is to onboard something from nothing, right? Because like the average it takes for me right now to get onboarded with somebody is like 3 to 4 months, right? From the very first outreach to getting access to start bidding on their freight is like 3 to 4 months right now. Now, granted, could it be different in the drive-in and the reefer world? Maybe. I don't fuck with that, right? Like we specialize in open deck and heavy haul. We're the best. We're the top flatbed and open deck broker in North America, hands down. You're not going to tell me any differently. That's what it takes me right now. So it's like if you're out there, if you're in that position, don't get frustrated, right? Don't get frustrated by the non-responses and everything that comes along with it right now. Is I know. And it's like, because when I hear the amount of freight that's not getting worked, it amps me up. It amps me up because I know there's an opportunity out there for me. It just takes a lot of effort to get to that point, right? Where they're like, fuck it, nobody else is working it here. You can start bidding on this freight. And then for me, it only takes one. But I want you to look at it from that perspective. Is there are a lot of people who are very hungry. The sharks are fully swimming right now, hoping you don't work that load, hoping that opportunity goes unanswered. So they have to reach out to somebody else, so if that's you, take this as a wake up call where it's like, fuck, it's time to literally start taking anything and everything that I could possibly do, because it's only a matter of time, you guys. And I'm it's extremely competitive out there. It's extremely competitive. And it's only going to remain this competitive out there. And it's again, you have to diligently work every opportunity, every single customer. It doesn't matter if you do 1 load with them a month or 100 loads with them a month. They are equally as important to you and your organization, because the greater thing to me is the habits that it creates. Because like everybody can show up when it's easy, right? Like everyone can go and show up when they're motivated, to go to the gym and everything. But it's like when things are challenging and like the challenging lanes and stuff that are out there, that's where your customers need you the most. They don't need your help on the Dallas to the Philly loads, right? The ones where your carrier reps just like get it covered in one phone call. They don't need the help on that. They need the help on those other loads, right? And then that's where you really solidify yourself as their premier provider And, it's a long process to get there. But if you're out there overlooking opportunities and saying it's not worth your time, it's going to come in due time where you're not going to see any more opportunities, or those opportunities are going to start to slowly go away. And before you know it, you're going to work yourself out of a customer because you thought you were above moving that freight. So that's kind of my little soapbox here on a beautiful Monday morning in transportation. Julia Olaskoga, what is up? Happy Monday. She's tiny homes. That's what One Call Logistics does. They're out there. They got a Bob Haas Roddy. What is up? Good morning. Let's fucking go. He says, let's see here, you guys. Diesel is the new, let me see. The new diesel thing will be released here this afternoon, and it is going to show the updated fuel price. But diesel's at $3.79 a gallon nationwide right now. I get all this information from the EIA, you guys, EIA.gov. And it's a good way for you to understand the trends on where things are, especially if you have prospects and customers out there that quote line haul plus fuel. This gives you a great idea on where things are trending out there, right? So it's like if you're out there pricing freight right now and you live off of the fuel as your margin on a load, your margin is going to start getting compressed as the more and more fuel drops. So pay attention to this stuff, you guys, EIA.gov. All right, so we're going to break down some articles. Excuse me. The links to all of these articles are uploaded on the YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is up on iTunes and Spotify almost immediately after the show. You guys, I put those links out there because, again, this is just my opinion on them. Every single article that I break down on here, you guys, this is the first time that I'm reading them. I get clickbaited by the headlines, and I'm like, oh, that looks like an interesting topic to talk about. And then we're going to break them down live on the show, and I'm going to put my opinion out there at the end of the day. And again, my opinion is just from somebody who's worked in this industry for a couple of days. I only moved 3 truckloads in my career, so I figure I have a PhD at this point, and I'm being completely fucking sarcastic with that statement because some of you guys literally take that seriously. I've been in the industry for 15 years, and I know a thing or two of what not to do in this industry. I'm never going to say I have it all figured out. I just know what not to do in freight. First article, ttnews.com. 19 states sue the EPA over California heavy truck phase out. Iowa leads the opposition in this. And it's going that they are suing the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for backing California's future ban on heavy diesel vehicles and an attempt to regulate the trucking industry out of existence through mandating net zero emission standards. The 51-page legal action against the EPA and its administrator, Michael Reagan, was filed June 5th out there by the Iowa Attorney General and her peers from Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, Indiana, Louisiana, Mississippi, and others. And Iowa isn't going to take a backseat to the EPA and California to try and regulate truckers out of business. We're pushing back. The EPA in California have no right or legal justification to force truckers to follow their radical climate agenda. Pointing out that only 2% of heavy trucks sold in the United States are electric, she contended President Biden's administration gave California the authority to force most buses, vans, trucks, or tractors to be electric by 2035. America would grind to a halt without truckers who deliver our food, clothes, and other necessities. But rather than support our hardworking truckers, Biden continues to empty their wallets and force them to drive electric trucks for his radical climate change agenda. Let me see, on March 9th, they declared the EPA reinstated California's authority under the Clean Air Act to implement its own greenhouse gas emission standards and zero emission vehicle sales mandates, paving the way for other states to mimic their regulations. Again, I kind of broke this down last week or the week before talking about this, and I put some images up there about how what mining for cobalt and other things that need to be utilized in the electric batteries and what it actually does to the environment. And again, if there is anybody out there who's listening to this show who is a massive proponent of this, I would welcome you to come on this show and talk about it. I'm not here for any gotcha moments or anything like that. I want to have an actual conversation about the why behind it. Why is electric the answer? Why is mining for those materials, okay, but drilling for oil is not. How is one better for the environment than the other? And I would love to talk about that, because I don't see it at all. I'm a massive proponent of combustion engines. I love the way things are. I'm not saying that I don't want to breathe cleaner air or anything like that, but based on the research and information that I found, it does not seem like it's better for the environment at all. It seems like more of a push than anything to it's an attack on small business, in my opinion. And it's just, it does not look like, from my perspective, it is better for the environment. If mining for one thing is okay, but not the other, again, I went to public school. I'm not an expert on this, but I would love to hear. So if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome. Send me a message. Love to have you on. Anyways, let me see. On April 28th, California Resources Board approved regulation mandating diesel, medium, and heavy-duty on-road vehicles to be gradually replaced out there. 8 other states have already adopted California's truck ban, as others ponder following example. Costs for electric trucks already start at about $100,000 and can reach in the high 6 figures. And even worse, California's new regulations are setting the standard for the rest of the country. Let me see here. EPA's action backing California's truck ban will also not only increase costs, but it will devastate the demand for liquid fuels such as biodiesel and cut trucking jobs across the nation. Iowa's trucking industry currently provides almost 100,000 jobs, and that is almost 1 in 13 jobs in the state. A ready replacement to lower diesel truck emissions. Biodiesel is produced in Iowa and more states out there for vegetable oils, animal fats, and recycled restaurant greases. Nearly all heavy-duty vehicles can be run by biodiesel blends. The Attorney General from the 19 states fighting these, let me see here. Biden's EPA is attempting to use California's truck ban to force it. Yep, we already read that. He noted 70,000 Kansas. This was from the Attorney General of Kansas, putting all that information out there. South Carolina's Attorney General said that there were more than 13 million trucks on the roads in 2020 carrying all goods we buy. And, again, it's another example of priority. Yeah. It's, again, I put my opinion out here enough on it. It's absolutely ridiculous to mandate it, right? Like putting those emerging technology or like alternatives. Cool. I'm all about electric vehicles and everything that we are. I'm all about that. I'm all about having alternative options for somebody to choose. What I am vehemently against is the government forcing you to do one thing over another. 1,000% against the government telling us to fucking do anything, let alone that you have to buy an electric vehicle out there. Because again, if you really want to go deeper into it, it's an absolute assault on small business. Absolute assault on small business is really what it boils down to. And, the data is very clear that 90+% of the trucks on the road are 20 truck or less operations. Do you really think that they have the funding to go out there and electrify their fleet? And I know somebody, commented, oh, it's in phases. I don't care about the phases of it. I care about these people in DC and other areas telling us that we have to do it or you can't work. That is not freedom to me at all. That is very, very, very much against fucking everything this country stands on, in my opinion. So for me, it's a joke. It shouldn't be a thing at all. And I'm glad to see that there's 19 states that are stepping up. And again, like the EPA, for example, where does it state in our Constitution that the EPA can fucking put laws in place? Like this shit has to go to Congress and everything from the federal level and the state level and everything. Like, I don't understand that. Again, I feel like it's a joke. It's very partisan at the end of the day. And again, I open this up and we're gonna move on to the next article after this. How is mining for one resource better for the environment than the other? When it, drilling for natural gas and everything and fossil fuels, how is drilling for cobalt, mining for lithium and all of that stuff, how is that better for the environment over drilling for oil and having the pipelines out there and everything? Again, just what we're going to do, we're going to end it on that, you guys. I'm against it 1,000%. But that article, 19 states sue EPA over California heavy truck phase out, and that is from ttnews.com. All right, here. Josh Hempstead, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in, my man. Let me see here. Bob Hasrati, he says, what exactly is shipping fraud? Shipping fraud is defined by paying for your items online, but not ever receiving them. According to TransUnion, shipping fraud increases almost 800% in the worldwide last year. Yeah, man, fucking shipping fraud is at the front and center of everything right now, man. It's the wild, wild west out there. It seems that it's never, yeah. It's we don't have time, man. We only got 10 minutes left. I can't get into that right now. Let me see here. All right, next article we're going to break off is going to be from JOC. This was written by my friend Bill Cassidy. Bill, if you're watching this, man, I got to get you back on the show. It's been a long time. Same with Eric Johnson. I got to get Eric Johnson back on the show too. This article, standoff between Yellow and Teamster Union, standoff between Yellow and Teamsters puts LTL shippers on alert. Jordan, we might do a show on that this week. We'll talk about combating shipping fraud. We already kind of talked about it last Thursday with my friend Kyle, my business partner over at Broker Carrier. But maybe we'll just do a whole show on combating shipper fraud, and maybe we'll do like a little thing where I get a shipper to come on the show and everything, and we can talk about that. That might be a good idea. Let's see here. Now, this article is from always about my favorite group out there called the Teamsters Union, and how it will put see, this is a standoff between Yellow and Teamsters Unions, but shippers on alert. Could you imagine, honestly, as a sales rep out there having to explain to your shipper or your customer that an organization out there that has literally nothing to do with the overall performance of that organization can stop people from doing their job? I'm just I'm not anti-union entirely. It just seems like it's just a fucking crock of shit. But anyways, back to the article. The Teamsters Union and its largest trucking employer, Yellow, are apparently deadlocked in a disagreement over the company's effort to combine its LTL subsidiaries into one multi-regional carrier. The union is calling the company's proposal offensive, while Yellow is warning that union stonewalling of its plan has its impaired ability to continue as a going concern. The language has LTL shippers on edge. Despite a decline in overall LTL shipments in the first quarter, shippers aren't seeing the scales of savings they've won in the truckload market, according to SJ Consulting Group. LTL revenue per shipment rose 2.7% year over year in the first quarter, while shipments dropped 9.1%. Yellow and its 23,000 Teamsters employees handle about 49,000 LTL shipments throughout the U.S. daily. And then according to that, finding alternatives to that capacity would prove costly. Any suggestion, that a major carrier, Yellow is U.S. third largest LTL provider out there, could have trouble remaining a going concern, raises warning flags for shippers. Yellow made that claim in a statement Tuesday, responding to a memo sent by the Teamsters Monday, rejecting their latest round of proposals. I can't imagine the Teamsters will not take this seriously. An industrial LTL shipper who requested anonymity said, "We have contingencies in place, but are concerned about what it'll do to the overall LTL capacity. Shippers would have to lean more heavily on smaller regional operators and work with multiple carriers if a source LTL capacity as large as Yellow were not available. The last time a comparable loss of capacity occurred is when Consolidated Freightway closed in 2002. Shippers hope any contingency plans will not be needed. Yellow is not in immediate danger. The company did report a $9.3 million operating loss and a $54.6 million net loss in the first quarter, but Yellow also reduced its salary and benefits costs, cut its fuel and supplies spending, and trimmed its purchase transportation out there. And according to that, Yellow has about 10% of the market share by shipment." See, and this is the thing, right? It's like, how can you, again, if you're the Teamsters right now, knowing this, that the people who pay your drivers, right? Because that's what they want to say, like, oh, your employee, yada, yada, yada. those people are noticing this. And what if they shift away? Then what are you going to do? What's your bargaining chip if you're the reason why customers stop working with Yellow, right? Like, you're not as powerful as you think in that instance, right? And I think that you really got to be careful about how you proceed now that it's out there in the headlines and the shippers are noticing this. They will, and especially if like service levels start to dip, man, they're just going to pull all the business. Then what? Then what are you going to do in this instance? Holding pattern says, but the company is stuck mid-transition from being an operator of one of 3 regional carriers. Yellow completed the combination of its national YRC freight network and then Redaways out there. Phase 2 is more ambitious, covering the Northeast, Midwest, and Southeast, translating to about 70% of the network. The restructuring began in 2019 and accelerated in 2021, and is considered a Yellow's attempt to achieve sustainability and profitability that has proved elusive out there. The completion of one Yellow implementation this year is of critical importance to them by integrating its operating companies and network into a super regional carrier. Yellow will strengthen jobs while greatly improving out there. Only 3 of the largest LTL carriers are unionized. The Teamsters announced tentatively a contract agreement with ArcBest subsidiary ABF. And then ABF is the 7th largest. And then Teamsters contract negotiations are underway with the 3rd company, TFI or T-Force Freight, the 6th largest one out there. Teamsters director John Murphy said in a Monday memo that the union is agreeable to reopening its contract with Yellow, which is due to expire next year. But we would need to still go through the normal process of obtaining membership surveys, holding local union. Sounds like spend a lot of money out there. Yellow, I'd hope for a quicker action that's out there. Again, this is it's who's going to suffer from this? The drivers, right? The actual paying members of the union are going to suffer from this, right? But to Jackknife TV's comment that the union, that they don't care because the Teamsters as the organization will still benefit from when the companies go under. Exactly, because those drivers are out there paying dues still and everything else. And yeah, I just think that it's, they're playing with fire at that point. I just think that that's what it is you're playing with fire for the drivers, because the drivers are going to be the ones who are going to suffer in this instance. And if there's a strike or anything else, it just never seems, and it just seems like this as of recent, all the stuff going on with the ports, all the stuff going on the rail, and everything else, it just seems that there's a lot of shit that these guys are campaigning for in the union that it's like, how would I pay in as a member and think like you're going to set me up for more success than being directly employed by a company if you're fighting for time off and benefits and shit, right? Like, I don't understand that. And now I'm pulling from multiple different scenarios here. So this isn't directly tied to the Yellow situation in the Teamsters itself, but like a lot of the stuff that I've seen over this time with the unions is it's like, how the fuck are you paying your union dues if like you don't even have set time off and shit? Like, I don't know. And then anyways, it's like, what stops these drivers from, again, because it said only 3 of the top 10 LTL providers are union. What stops these drivers from eventually saying, fuck this, I'm going to go jump and go work for somebody else who's not unionized, because I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I just want to fucking drive. I want to work hard and provide for my family and not have to think in the back of my head that my income might be fucked with here as a whole. So again, that article, joc.com, standoff between Yellow and Teamsters unions put shippers on alert. And ultimately, if the shippers stop working with Yellow, what's our alternative, union? What's our alternative to find more freight to keep those drivers driving? Just out of curiosity, would love to know. Let me see here. Inevitably, those same unionized workers will find union jobs elsewhere and still continue to play. Yeah, you're right. And then if you look at the companies that went bankrupt, that were collective bargaining with the Teamsters, you will see the Teamsters organization gets first dibs. Yeah, of course, man. Of course they do, bro. Why wouldn't they? Adolfo says unions are taking advantage of the current state of freight to get better pay. Really doesn't sound like they have the best interests of their internal. Correct. And, Let me see. Erica Hamilton, good morning. Louie, good morning. Adolfo, you said good morning up there as well. But yeah, man, I'm right there with you. But we're up on time. You guys, that's going to be it for today. We'll be back tomorrow, as always, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. And if you guys got value in this, subscribe and share the show, you guys. Rank the show on iTunes and Spotify. Coffee with the Freight Coach is what it's uploaded under there. And then the Freight Coach YouTube channel as well, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.